You've probably never heard much about it, but make no mistake. There is a Brazilian aircraft seriously bothering the United States government. This is no fiction, and it's not just nationalist exaggeration. Your support strengthens our mission to reveal what the mainstream won't show. Today, countries like Portugal, Hungary, Austria, and the Netherlands have already signed deals to operate the KC-390 in their air forces, which by itself sends a clear message to the American industry. The monopoly is under threat, and above all, it bothers those used to dictating the rules and controlling global arms flows. And that's exactly where the tension begins. The United States has never been fond of competition in sectors where it is dominant, especially when it comes to defense. Producing the KC-390 in the US might be a trap or an opportunity. Everything depends on how the partnership is handled and what guarantees of technological sovereignty Brazil can maintain. On the other hand, countries like China and India have been observing the success of the Brazilian cargo plane with interest. Beijing, for instance, has already shown demand for medium-sized aircraft to expand its military logistics. A strategic approach to Brazil could open a new front of alliances, further challenging American supremacy. And here's the crucial point. The KC-390 is not just a plane. It is a symbol that Brazil can do things differently, that there is talent, engineering, and strategic vision in this country to compete with the giants. And that is precisely why it sits at the center of a silent dispute, where cruising speed or operational range matter far less than one thing: who will hold the power? This video is a warning, an invitation to reflect. Is Brazil ready to play on the global board with autonomy? Or will we once again give up our leadership in exchange for crumbs and promises? The failed attempt by Boeing to acquire Embraer in 2020 was just the first step in this silent war. So leave your comment. What do you think about the partnership between Embraer and the United States? Should Brazil maintain full domestic production or give up part of its control in exchange for global market access? When Brazil refused to hand over its most strategic company, it became clear that national sovereignty is still a barrier to foreign control. But the Americans are masters at playing the influence game. Recently, Embraer announced plans to produce or assemble the KC-390 on US soil, in partnership with companies like L3Harris. The goal is clear: to make the cargo plane eligible for contracts with the Pentagon, the world's largest military budget. To do this, production must take place in the US, following the requirements of the Buy American Act. Sounds like a masterstroke. Right, but there is a thin line between opening doors in the American market and losing control over your own technology. Manufacturing on American soil can indeed pave the way for million-dollar contracts. But it also raises uncomfortable questions. Will Brazil remain the true owner of the project? Will the KC-390's technology stay under national control? Or are we handing over a strategic gem to be absorbed and neutralized by the United States? It's important to remember that Lockheed Martin has already tried, indirectly, to sabotage the KC-390's rise. Resistance to the Brazilian aircraft in procurement processes and beyond diplomatic pressure are clear signs that Washington sees the Millennium not as a partner, but as an inconvenient competitor. And the reason is simple. The KC-390 delivers more for less, with greater cargo capacity, higher speed, and advanced mission systems. It represents everything 21st century armed forces need. While the C-130 is a tough veteran, the KC-390 is a machine built for the future. But what's at stake here goes far beyond technical specifications. This is a geopolitical battle for industrial and technological leadership. The KC-390 symbolizes a turning point for Brazil, a country that traditionally exported raw materials and imported defense technology. Now, it emerges as a strategic supplier of a NATO-standard aircraft that can operate anywhere in the world. The story of the KC-390 begins as an ambitious project by Embraer, in partnership with the Brazilian Air Force, a military tactical transport aircraft with cutting-edge technology, capable of landing on short runways, carrying troops, vehicles, and even performing aerial refueling. It was created to be faster, more versatile, and more modern than the eternal C-130 Hercules, manufactured by the American company Lockheed Martin. For decades, the C-130 was practically the only reliable option in the market, a true symbol of American military power, present in almost every armed conflict since the Korean War. But the KC-390 arrived with a bold proposal: deliver more for less, with higher speed, lower maintenance costs, and much more modern onboard digital systems. The KC-390 Millennium, developed by Embraer, is at the center of a silent dispute between Brazil and the United States, a dispute involving billions of dollars. military power, and above all, control over the future of tactical military airlift around the world. And if you think this is just a technical matter between companies, you're dead wrong. What's at stake here is Brazil's sovereignty, Washington's influence over the global defense sector, and the surprising possibility that Brazil may be about to dethrone a 60-year aerial hegemony. So watch until the end, because you're going to understand why this Brazilian cargo aircraft is giving global powers sleepless nights, how it challenges the dominance of the legendary C-130 Hercules, used by over 70 countries, and what lies behind America's sudden interest in producing the KC-390 on US soil. If you like content like this, take a moment to subscribe to the Zone of Power channel, hit the bell icon, and leave a like. And the result caught the world's attention. That's unsettling. It unsettles the old order. It unsettles Washington's lobbyists. By keeping the project in its own hands, Brazil shows that it can indeed be a player. But the future is still uncertain. If you've made it this far, it's because you care about the future of our country. Subscribe now to the Zone of Power channel, turn on notifications, and share this video with those who need to understand that the fight for power often begins in silence. And sometimes, it comes flying in the form of a green-painted cargo aircraft.